Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. My name is Louisa Havers and I help high achievers, entrepreneurs and coaches lift the lid on life and business so that they can live at their highest value. Each episode we will bring you our favourite founders, CEOs and guest experts to share with you their insights and strategies to expand your wealth consciousness, your spiritual leadership and aligned business strategies. We know that living in alignment with your soul's mission is what fulfills you, and we are here to show you how to achieve this in an energetically aligned way. If you haven't already, be sure to claim your free abundance activation in the Akashic Records. Go to louisahavers.com/gift to unlock your abundance activation today. And if you'd like my support in having aligned success in life and business, then contact me at www.louisahavers.com and let's explore together if it's an aligned match. Get ready to live at your highest value and to expand into your next level of money as you elevate and receive more. You create more for others. Righty ho, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back, everybody. We have a treat for you today. We have the phenomenal Melissa Seaman. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, love. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so happy to be here with you as well, and I'm so excited for our conversation today. So for those of you that are getting to know Melissa, Melissa is an executive coach for intuitively gifted wise women and is a world-renowned retreat leader, sought-after media speaker and host of the Channel Your Genius podcast. And your story is such an interesting story, Melissa. Melissa is a Stanford-educated former business lawyer, and she bridges the worlds of business strategy and intuitive development to guide professional women in midlife to clarify their deepest purpose, do business with heart and ease, and step into a new level of leadership as what she calls professional wise women. And Melissa has guided her clients to $6 million windfalls, creating fun business quizzes that go viral, and new careers that integrate their intuitive gifts without losing respect, relationships, or revenue. I love this so much.
Yay.
So
Yay.
excited. So how did you do that journey from business lawyer to being the queen of quizzes and to being able to make such a big impact on people's lives in such a different way?
Yeah, I mean, many of the women I hang out with, and you and I have this in common, we bridge the worlds. We're both very pragmatic and analytical and strategic, but we're also deeply magical, intuitive, tuned in, energetically aware. And for me, I was raised Catholic. I was a woman of faith, but I wasn't really open to a lot of mysteries. I was very comfortable in my Catholic tradition and working as a business attorney, a litigation specialist. And then I gave birth to my daughter in the year 2000. She's my second child. And it was another natural birth, but it went so fast and it was so lovely. It wasn't painful. It was intense, but it was this tremendous opening. And she proudly claims that she bust me open. And I think that's true because after I gave birth to Clarice in the year 2000, I could suddenly see energy. I could see dead people. I could see spirits. I could see, I became a seer. And I also was able to, with the help of my spirit guides and angels, to move energies and to shift things and to clear people. So I went full woo for about 7 years. I moved to the forest. I literally lived naked in a hippie community at Harbin Hot Springs for about 7 years, while I also developed a major permaculture project down the road. And I'm always doing big projects. It's just part of who I am. But I have to admit that being kind of living out in the boonies would be for a while really fun. And then I got bored. And I missed the realms of business. I missed like that perky attitude of smart people creating big things. And so I found the balance for myself. I moved back to San Diego, where my family is. I grounded out and I started a business helping intuitive professionals create businesses that bridge the worlds. And then I also ended up getting tapped by quite a few higher resourced professionals in creative professions where they were having accidental awakenings like the one that I had. And so then, so I also am an executive coach for those folks.
I love it. I love these accidental awakenings. I mean, what a shock to the system to
Right.
have that come through so quickly.
Yeah. No, it was huge. And it sounds easy now, but at the time it was devastating because my Catholic parents and my Catholic engineer husband and most of my friends, it was such a radical shift that it was really hard on my relationships. And I got a little egoic in it, like we do when we first wake up to these things. And I thought I was all special for a while. And it was just like caused a bunch of drama. Yeah, it took me years to come around and be able to speak about my deeper gifts and to use them in a way that was pragmatic, relatable, accessible. And guess what? That's what business is taking our deepest gifts and putting them to words that that draw value, and then being in that elliptical exchange with people where you're giving your deepest gifts and they have enough structure and words to pay you for that, to give back. And there we go. That's business.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that so much. And it's a superpower to be able to balance the spiritual gifts with that pragmatic business skill set, and to be able to navigate how the planes of marketing and the aspects of business change. I mean, principles of business don't change, but how we deliver and meet those requirements change. And I know just before we were started recording, we were talking about there's such a big shift right now
Yes.
with people really recognizing that as we've had this huge surge in growth online, what used to work doesn't necessarily work now. The algorithms are always shifting and changing, and all that stuff. And it's enough to send anyone's nervous system into the flight, fright, freeze mode and all the things. And I know that you've had a special way and you've just seen it work so much. I'd love to dive into this more deeply with you around quiz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And creating, fun business quizzes that go viral, because as we want them to work and to be able to be of value, and to be able to reach more people. So tell me about the quiz stuff, because
Yeah,
I'm
the
sure
quiz stuff.
it
I
can
like to,
be
I call it
than
the quiz
than it
stuff for
is.
short. But the truth is this. Many of us who've been in business for a while have relied on 5-day challenges and speaker summits and checklists and ebooks and other freebies. And it has been a devastating year for us to recognize that those things don't work anymore. Our beautiful recorded webinars and our video sales letters and our all these things that we've been working so hard. And I think those of us who are more intuitive, which I'm sure, this community listening is a little more on the intuitive side. And we're devoted to infinite prosperity, to this knowing of abundance, to the energetic practice of abundance. And it is so disturbing when you're someone who's used to the flow being with you to go through a cultural shift like we've seen in the past year that breaks your systems and cuts your inflow of clients and your profits often in half or 20 or more than that. A lot of people this year have really seen a drop in client flow and revenue. And if you are someone devoted to energetics, of course you're going to ask yourself, oh shoot, what am I doing wrong? My vibe is off, I guess, or maybe God doesn't want me to do this work anymore. And when I started hearing that from my clients, I was like, stop that. This is actually a cultural shift. It's a radical global cultural shift under the pressures of rising authoritarianism and the last dying throes of the fight of the patriarchy. How that's showing up is your clients are freaked out under the pressure and the assault of all of this new AI created marketing that's blasting out 150 times more messaging than ever before. And in some cases, like DMs, it's like 400% more DMs. They're coming from fake accounts, from fake people speaking fake things. Duh, of course, everyone is skeptical and cynical. And as you're listening to this, can you just be honest with yourself? How many emails do you even open, much less read anymore? How many DMs do you trust? We are now approaching everything with this cynical, skeptical attitude. And that's righteous because we have to. There's too much fake stuff out there. So what's the answer then? If you're growing a business, if you're someone who's growing a business, who's devoted to integrity, devoted to good, energetic, abundant exchange, how the heck do you market now? The key is to find marketing tools that are steeped in consent and compassion, because those are the two things that AI doesn't give you. Those are the two things that the authoritarian push doesn't give you: consent and compassion. So I'm not just talking about any old quiz. I'm talking about a system that invites people into a deeper conversation, that they choose consent, that meets them in a place where their deepest wound is hiding and not getting spoken about: compassion. I'm going to say that again because it's a very different point of view of any of the old boys marketing stuff that we've been taught and practicing, PLF formula and email marketing and even bucket quizzes. No, no, no. You don't just ask people to throw themselves in a bucket. That's neither consensual nor compassionate. I call the quizzes that I like and that I teach are called magic mirror quizzes. Because as soon as you see the topic or the invitation, the title of the quiz, you go, whoa, I want to know that about myself. So you had mentioned like business quizzes, and they work for business, but they don't look like business quizzes. So some of my clients' recent quizzes are like, there was one I did that was really fun with a client that was, which little old lady body are you likely to have? Like, and she did Feldenkrais and work with posture. And, if you stay on your current line, which little old lady body are you likely to have? Holy crap. Nobody's talking about that,
No. And immediately I'm wanting to do that quiz now, Melissa.
Right. Yeah. And then there's like, what's another fun one? Which gluten monster is torturing you? So it's like, let's talk about gluten for a minute, but which monster attacks you when you eat gluten? And she has a new one. This is Edie Hoppen's work. She has a new one called the Meno monster. Which menopause monster attacks you? Because they're all different. Menopause attacks us in different ways. And if you know your type, then you know how to treat it. Okay. Which of the 7 fuels drive your business? There are 7 types of fuel that keep you motivated in your business to run your business, 7 of them. Which one of them is your fuel? Because sometimes you feel like you're running out of gas. So these are all examples of magic mirror quizzes that I've helped clients make. And as you can tell right from the get-go, we're going underneath their complaint, to their fears, to their deeper stuff that people aren't talking to them about. And with each one of these kinds of quizzes, they are designed from your signature approach. So not only are you inviting them to learn something about themselves, you're inviting them to learn a whole new framework or perspective or language that you use to address that problem. And they, with every step of the way, as they're answering your little quiz, because I say little quiz, because the first quiz, the magic mirror quiz, should be no more than 10 questions long. 10 multiple choice questions. And there should only be maybe 4 or 5 multiple choice answers to each question, which means you've only got 4 or 5 archetype answers. So when we did like the 7 fuels quiz for a client of mine, I won't mention his name because he's really big now. I'm not even sure if he's still using that quiz, but it was brilliant. And went along with the launch of his best-selling book. There's 7 fuels. And so with those questions and answers, just to give you guys a hint here, he would have to say like, well, what's one thing that would totally get you out of bed in the morning? And then it would have to be like, coffee, affection, bright sunlight, like very short answers, because there's 7 of them. So at every step that you're building your quiz, you're being compassionate with the person taking the quiz. You're thinking, oh my gosh, they're not going to want to read through 7 full paragraphs, to pick which paragraph is the answer. Even a sentence would be too long if there's 7 of them. It has to be a 3-word answer tops, so that they can scan and pick the answer. So in my system for building a quiz like this, it's basically a series of inquiries where I'm guiding you to find those archetypes that are based inside of your system, which end up being the answer types for your quiz, and then titling the quiz so that it draws in just your clients. So here's the other thing. I put ad money towards my quiz. My quiz, the soul gift quiz, is my main quiz. And it tells you what is your deepest gift in less than 2 minutes by answering 7 fun questions. So it sounds very friendly. It is friendly. People love taking the quiz. It's got pictures. It's like super easy to breeze through. Soul gift quiz. Then you learn your soul gift type. So in the system, the key is to identify from the core of your work, the way that you teach it, the way that you teach, for example, about raising our abundance flow, about tapping the right energies in the right ways and clearing the right blocks in the right order to open that flow up and to keep it clear. You have a very unique system. So your quiz would, dive in and you go, okay, which are the archetypes? The archetypes are basically types of clients who move towards you in your business. So there's a whole system to this. And I did make a little class that's like a DIY version, because mostly I've been doing this quiz work with people inside of my business mentorship where I'm copy editing everything because I'm really good at this, like making really badass quizzes. So when I can do that for my mentees, I get super excited. However, I've had other people say, well, I can't afford $1,000 a month right now to do that for a few months and get my quiz worked out with you. So can you do something for a few $100? And so I've managed to create that. And I'm also about to do another free quiz webinar. So I just want you listening to know that I am so committed to you having access to this quiz magic, because it's the flipping only thing that works right now. I run ads to the soul gift quiz. And if you ever run Facebook ads, that, if you get $2 a lead, that's a pretty good deal, right? Especially if they're pre-qualified, if they're your type of audience. My quiz, 40 cents a lead.
Wow.
40
That is
cents
magic.
a lead. Over the holidays, it went up to 50 cents, but 40 cents a lead, 40 cents a lead, you guys. And what does that tell you? What that tells you is that people love it, that they choose to click on it. They want to click on it. It also tells you that it stands apart from all the other ads that people don't complain about it. They don't mark it spam. That people feel invited, that they feel lifted up, that they're thanking you for it. And it also means that with a good quiz ad, you literally have a turn-onable faucet of new
Yes.
clients, of new leads every month. And you can just put, for the most part, I've limited my ad spend to the amount that I can handle of new leads coming in per month.
That's a beautiful place to be, and I mean phenomenal
Really
results
nice.
in terms of that cost per lead. That's absolutely incredible, and I can see why you're like everybody has to have a quiz, because I think
Oh, yeah.
it's amazing how people will raise their hands for things and don't do anything with it. I've got a clearing entities guide which is phenomenal.
Ooh,
And all these
yeah.
people were raising their hands for it. And I followed up to see who had used it. And I kid you not, out of about 100 people, only 2 people had actually done it. I was like, well, blow me down. If you think you've got an entity,
Right.
this is a real priority, to do it. And I'm giving you the exact steps of how to clear it.
Yeah,
And
exactly. What a
there's an offer
wonderful
to come and
example.
step
Now,
up.
5 years
Yeah.
ago, people would have been reading that and following up with you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Maybe even 2
Yeah.
years ago. There
Yeah.
was a little bit of a mini golden age during the pandemic, quite frankly, because people were stuck at home and they would actually read your ebook for the first time ever in a few years. But now, no, they don't ingest anything they choose. And then they get mad when you send them emails. And they report you as spam because they don't even remember downloading the guide. And it's just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh my gosh, you guys, I'm trying to do business in full integrity and you still are skeptical. The difference is because sometimes people like listen to one of my private podcasts and then they'll come back and they're like, I don't know who you are. I'm like, that's because you never listen to the private podcast, fool. But those who do, that's another great strategy, actually, is secret podcast, private podcast for for high-end clients who are like ready to move. They'll move through your private podcast and drop right into a sales call for an upper level program. But I digress. The cool thing about the quiz is not only do they ingest it immediately because it's so easy to ingest, they land on their short results. If you've done it right, if it's truly a magic mirror quiz, I get thank you notes from people all the time right after they've landed on that short results paragraph. And they're like, oh my God, your little quiz just saw me deeper than anything I've ever. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is how starving for deep acknowledgement we are now, for deep personalized acknowledgement. We are starving for it. And so when your magic mirror quiz gives them that deep, profound, personalized acknowledgement, it creates intimacy. It creates trust. Just from your dumb little quiz, like it's not a dumb little quiz to them. It's a profound moment of acknowledgement and awareness. And then do they want to give you their email? Yeah, they actually want to communicate with you. So I don't put my email opt-in thing before they've answered questions. I put it after they've taken the quiz questions. Because by the time they've answered the quiz questions, they're like, okay, this chick is cool. I actually want to hear from her. And on my opt-in, I have a skip this step option. Because if they get to that point and they're like, meh, I don't want them on my list. If the consent goes both ways, the compassion goes both ways. But if they have opted in, they're actually rushing over to their inbox to get the full report because there's a little tear crawling down their face just from reading the first paragraph. And this is normal in my world of quizzes. This is not your everyday quiz. This is not a scored quiz. Oh, hell no. Do not score people when you don't know them. That's called judgmental guru bullshit. Like, don't ask them to score themselves. You don't know them well enough yet. That's a fifth date activity, not a first date activity. On the first date, you acknowledge them You get curious about them and you acknowledge them. And that's what a magic mirror quiz does. And then you invite them for a second date. And when they go get their full results email, that's kind of a second date. And now you can talk more about yourself because they're curious about you. I have like a formula for that email that really works. And we get quite a few sales off that first email that goes to them after the quiz. They hop right on a sales call. So it's it's like I can't even. Yes, it takes a little bit of work to put a quiz together, but it's not brain surgery. And once you have it, it just keeps working.
Yeah, I love this so much. And I'm thinking about all the pieces where people are sort of using AI to make quizzes and then, oh, oops, it doesn't work because you can't put that compassion and that consent and that expertise in if you've got it just being rinsed and kind of created, or people using those templates. I've seen those where
Yep.
it's like life coach template or whatever it might be.
I know, and they're
And
horrible.
it's so generic,
Horrible.
like
Oh,
boring.
it's so embarrassing. No, and you get halfway through the quiz and you feel queasy and you're like, why am I doing this? Like, they're
Mm.
mining me right now. And that's what a lot of the business quizzes feel just like, oh my God, they're mining me. Like they'll come out in question 3 and be like, what's your income level? And you're like, oh no, screw you. Like this has, that is, if somebody asked you on a first date, what is your income level? You'd be like, what the hell? You don't even know who I am. You're not even noticing me. You want to know my income level? No way, man. Like, so that's why, fortunately, with a magic mirror quiz, we have juicy ass titles right at the top, So there's no one's like, they know they're going to get something juicy. It's not just like, what type of feminine leader are you? I mean, I am so tired of those quizzes. What type of business should you have? What type of free gift should you give? I mean, these are boring. They're transparent. They're at this point, they border on
They've got a
offensive.
hooky energy, haven't they? It's like I'm trying to
Ugh,
hook you in,
you're just like,
rather
really?
than leading with love and being
Yeah,
able
exactly.
to feel the
And what's
energetics of any marketing.
You're right. It actually, though, some people say, oh, well, don't those people ruin quizzes for you? And I'm like, they don't, because when you then offer them a deep magic mirror question and quiz, they're like, oh, finally somebody wants to talk about something that's worth talking about to me. Finally somebody, now here's a question I actually want answered. This is what matters. Thank you so much. you know so it's juicy and it's relevant and it's personal and it's consensual and it's compassionate. And then of course, like, they get their full results email and now they know your approach. A good number of them are just going to be like, yeah, I want to learn more, I want to work with you. But
Yeah,
a lot of people will say, well, that was interesting, let's see what comes next. And then, because you know which of the archetypes they are on your own system, you know so much about this person. So the follow-up emails and communications feel so personal to them because you're speaking to their type. And that's
good.
where, even though it's an automated sequence of emails, and they know that, everybody knows that, it feels so personal to them. And when people get on the sales call with you, whether that's a group sales call, which I'm a big proponent of, where you have we're talking to more than one interested person at a time. When you have a funnel that brings you a steady stream of clients, it's easy to have a group sales call instead of, repeating yourself to person after person. The truth is, when you have them in a funnel where they feel really personally touched, then you can be educating them about their options all along the way. So by the time they get on that group call with you, they already know they want to work with you. They've already convinced themselves. They've already opted in to being one of your ideal clients. They literally, when they get on a call with me, they go, oh, you're real. I go, yep, I'm real. What questions you got? And then they're like, well, I'm just not sure. Should I do your $1,000 a month thing or your $500 a month thing? And I'm like, well, let's talk about it, so it doesn't, there's no pressure. There's no repeating yourself, explaining your work,
Love
explaining the value,
the
explaining
system.
the options. Ugh, yeah. It's just like for energetically, especially for us empaths and sensitives, oh yeah, it just sets you free. It's like, finally, I can just do the work they sent me here to do with people opting in. Oh yeah. And I'm a projector. What are you in human design?
Manifesting generator.
Oh my God, see, I love you people. But like, because I'm a projector, what do I have to do? I have to wait for the invitation. How do you market if you have to wait for an invitation? You have a quiz funnel. That's how you do it, because the quiz funnel does all the education for you. And then they literally show up consensually asking to work with you. And then you can just really show up for them. So that's my little spiel. That's my spiel on the quiz. And I am going to do a quiz webinar that's free. So if you want to learn more about this step by step, yeah, just we'll put the link in the show notes, right?
Yeah, that would be great. I think that would be super helpful so people can come and, learn more. Because it's that piece, isn't it? You don't know what you don't know until you start to work with someone who's seen the pitfalls, help guide people through so that you don't have to make all the mistakes that other people have made. I do think that we have to be aligned with the way that we're marketing. And if someone is listening who's had those kind of experiences this last year where things that used to work aren't working and you're looking for a new way, then this episode has landed on your lap for a reason.
Yeah.
So get in touch with Melissa. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Where can people come and find you? Where do you tend to hang out?
Come take the quiz. Come take the quiz. So the soul gift quiz, not only will you learn your deepest gift in 2 minutes, like I said, but you'll also get the feeling for what one of these magic mirror quiz funnels can feel like. And yeah, check it out because this stuff works so great. So that's at soulgiftquiz.com, SOUL giftquiz.com. And we'll put those links down, in the show notes too. But come take the quiz. Come check out the free webinar. I've got a quiz, create your own quiz, do it yourself class that I'll be offering from that webinar for only a couple $100. Everyone I love, I want them to have a quiz funnel right now. It's your safety into the future. I don't know what else can work like this, can go so deep with people in the way that our work goes deep, and you listening. I've had companies come to me and say, will you build us a quiz? And I'm like, well, what do you do? And they're like, oh, we sell solar door to door. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to build you a quiz. Like, it needs to be something where we can give deep and profound acknowledgement. And if your business is one that transformation is involved, deeper work is involved, it will work. But if you're selling toilet paper rolls, I can't help you. You're just gonna give away.
I like the clarity. Love the clarity. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom. I think this is such an important topic. So appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. I know that you do such deep work with creating this sort of compassionate, consensual, flowing, elliptical, you know how to put us in the flow. And so it just felt right to bring this topic into this space where people care about being in that righteous flow of abundance.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's joined the conversation and is listening in. Please do let us know what resonated for you. Make sure you go and take Melissa's quiz so you can find your soul gifts and get to experience what these incredible quizzes can do for you. And hop on to Melissa's webinar as well so you can check it out if it feels aligned. Thank you so much. Sending you all loads and loads of love. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. And if you like what you've heard and want to know more, please go to louisahavers.com. We just appreciate you so much. So thank you for listening and hanging out with us. If there's anything that we can do for you, you can email us at louisa@louisahavers.com. Let my team know if you have any ideas for shows that you'd love to hear or topics you want me to talk about. Really looking forward to hearing from you. All right, that is it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today. Looking forward to connecting with you again. Until next time, namaste.